who make the structure of to make a representation of our system. And here it's like a constellation of different kind of power, but in a way it's from the basis of this image come from yes, it's United States world government. It's the forms and the structure come from the American governance. If you want to go in the global market, you need to pay a lot, and you need to have some agreements from these kind of groups. And it's also important to see that, because it's not like a market. You have not like a market. You have a seller and buyer. You have also some forms of control, and it's very important to see that. Okay, the tax havens platform, very, very important, because when you speak about black box, yes, you have black box in algorithm, it's clear, but part of the black box is also tax haven. And the tax haven, it's an infrastructure of the global system. It's very clear, since the 60s you have discussion, yes, there are problems with tax havens and like that, and the problems you have and all the money who don't come in the state because they are tax havens. But it's very clear you have like a consensus that nobody touch the question of tax havens. And it is the center or the platforms of the system. All these banks have count in these tax havens, and it's very important to watch that as a multiplicator also in the question of the crash. Okay, the question of the secret, and after the crash, the question of agreements. One of the bases of world government, US world government, is, for example, the agreement between UK and USA as a whole agreement between two empires, and it's a basis of echelon system, for example, with like an ancestor of an origin of the system to make global surveillance of data all over the world. And other aspect of the global American strategy is culture and desire, how you produce desire for this system. And we see this desire spreading all in all the country. We are in Japan, we see that also. Japan has also its own industry of desire, but we have also the American desire industry. And here it's, yes, the big Hollywood studio, just one aspect of that, but it's also an important aspect to produce the imagination of the system and a global image of it. Okay, for example, and I think it's an effect also of Pierre's approach. It's this last image who appears in the media, where you can see Lady Gaga with I don't remember the name. Yes, Assange as critics and official critics, and it's interesting we can see here that you have a clear management of the real truth. He says the truth, and she confirms that.
It's mainly the system American dominated. It's sort of défi américain again. I mean, there's little room for China and Russia in this system to develop.
You have some zones of conflicts.
Yeah.
And for example, China and Russia are, for example, you have the BRICS country or the Eurasian strategy, for example, and it's more in a conflict zone. Mm-hmm. It's not, you have also, it's complicated because you have also some strategy who say, okay, for example, the Asia Society and the Rhodes Scholar, it's very important groups, I think, says, okay, the future is you have two big powers, it's China and America, and it's important to make a deal between these two powers, because the future is the story of these two powers. You have different strategies. It's not completely one way, because in a way, yes, it's a map of a system, an algorithm. And yes, okay, you have yeah, like a stable place, and but it's also a constellation. And to see if you have coordination in the different kind of powers, it's difficult to know. It's difficult to know. I think you have coordination between the military part and this kind of agreement and the free trade area agreements, because you have exactly the same structure.